So, all right, what? You the Chris Paul Warriors thing. When Steph was off the floor, you called it.
Might have been a surprise to you. It was not a surprise to me. You had an adult in the room when you needed to have one. Now, all that said, there's still the wild and crazy Warriors, and that does certainly concern me. And yes, I know we're short on time, but I have to get to this, Colin. I'm pulling my my resident card on this. J-Mac, don't make us choose on load management. It's either or. It's not as if load management has guys ready to play in the postseason. They're still not available, and they're making $50 million. You don't need to extend your career in order to get that fourth max salary. Let's just play. I'm with Charles and Colin. Let this you playing the role of country bumpkin up in the 300 section, drinking Pabst. Like, come on now.
All right.
Both of you are way out of line. Okay.
All right.
I must be challenging my Charles, because to get back to your point, yes, Chris Paul is not going to be an issue. But I'm kind of sad today because I feel like all of the intrigue of the NBA season, at least as far as the Western Conference is concerned, was really sucked out of the very first night. The Denver Nuggets are far and away the best team in the league.
They are.
Anthony Davis is not going to be the lead guy on any kind of team vying for a championship. And Devin Booker is still a hothead, wildly talented, still a hothead. Can't see him leading Phoenix anywhere. And the Warriors are going to be better than last year, but I wouldn't be sizing them for rings. So let's just hope that the Eastern Conference is going to give us something to talk about, because I feel like we already know how the Western Conference is going to go.
Whoa, that's a lot. Hey, how about this?
Yeah.
Victor Wembanyama. Yeah. Okay, he's put on 18 pounds. It's like, here he comes. Starts tonight. Yeah. What should we expect?
I expect that he's going to be phenomenal. He's clearly the real deal, but I'm also looking, Colin, have you looked at the rest of that Spurs roster? Have you looked at what you're asking him to carry? If he's not playing 35, 40 minutes, which I do not expect the Spurs to be playing him that much or leaning on him that much, this is just not a very good Spurs team. I fully expect that they are looking at, you know what? We don't have to worry about making the playoffs. We don't have to worry. Like, we know what Victor is. Let's make another run at the lottery and find a running mate for Victor, and then we'll unleash the beast. But look, I love watching him play. To see a guy that size do what he does is so unorthodox. It was the one question I had. I don't have that question anymore. He is going to be phenomenal. It's just a matter of when do the Spurs allow him to be phenomenal on the biggest stage.
So I think there's pressure on Milwaukee. Dame is older, smaller player, getting dinged up. Giannis is in his prime, but Brook's older. Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, older, falling apart a little bit. I think they've got about a 2-year window to get it done. I don't with Boston. Tatum in his prime, Jaylen in his prime. I don't think they have a brief window. I think Boston's got about 5 years here, 4 years. I feel like last year Milwaukee looked old, and they looked old against Boston. How do you think the Dame Giannis thing looks 6 months from today? What's it going to look like?
Well, they were the oldest team last year in the league, and they're the second oldest team this year. And I'm with you 100%. I don't know. Lillard solves one problem, but the loss of Jrue Holiday creates others, which is that defensively, there's just a huge question in terms of what they can be, especially if you're talking about the Boston Celtics. How are you going to match up against those uber athletic guys on the wings? Who's guarding them? Chris Middleton, you hope that he's healthy. Damian Lillard, no chance. Pat Connaughton, So that to me is the issue. Now, the biggest question, and I agree with you, Boston Celtics look like they are going to be a force to be reckoned with for years to come. The big question is it going to be built around Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown? That's the referendum that we're going to see here. We thought that they were going to get there last year. And when they didn't, it was a look at Jayson Tatum to say, can he really be the best player on a championship team. If there were no excuses last year, there certainly aren't any this year. Not with the addition of Jrue Holiday, who is just a headier, more solid point guard and playmaker than Marcus Smart. So that's going to be the question. I think that the Celtics at some point win a championship in the next couple of years. But if it's not this year, then I don't know that they do it with Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Okay, we're out of time. Ric Bucher, going to see a lot more of him as always, Bukes. It's great seeing you. Thanks for calling out J-Mac. Really appreciate that. That needs to be done in a more consistent level. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.